Does beating UCLA make up for the rest of the season? Probably not, but it sure doesn't make it smell as bad.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every single day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download it, this podcast is always going to be free, and I'm always going to appreciate your support. You can get into the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers, if you place a $5 bet, you're going to get started with $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Of course not. Beating UCLA is, and you know me with the word expectation, but around these parts, finger quotes, it is expected. You beat the Bruins every single time you line up across the field from them. Every time. It's not going to happen, but you expect it to happen. So beating UCLA, it means a lot, obviously, still. It takes a little bit of the stink away from the season that USC's been having. They are now 6-5. They're bowl eligible. Woo! Yeah. Man, has the bar really been lowered or what? Anyways, of course, beating UCLA doesn't change the season, other than you can say you beat one of your two rivals you're going to play this year. But you still lost to Minnesota. You still lost to Maryland. You still lost to Washington. And it's the way that they lost to these teams. That's why I'm asking the question. Does beating UCLA make up for the rest of the season? No, it doesn't. Of course not. USC's defense, said it before, I'll say it again because they deserve as much acclaim as possible. They've done more than I think anyone anticipated this year, right? So while USC's roster isn't the most talented, this team has shown that they do not quit, and they've also shown that they pretty much can play with anybody. They can play down to the level of the team they're playing, and they can play up to the level of the team they're playing. I mean, Penn State, they're not great, but they're more than likely going to make the playoffs this year. They're one of the top 5 teams in the country. And even though USC gave up that fourth quarter lead to Michigan in Ann Arbor, it's not like USC lost at home to Appalachian State. So, while beating up on UCLA doesn't salvage the season, it definitely removes the stink factor, and that's what's so important about this. It's putting a little bit of a shine on the turd, putting some lipstick on the pig, make it look just a little bit better. But what this game against UCLA really did, you learn from everything. I think it really shined a light on this year's issue, this team's issue in 2024. It's not on the defensive side of the ball. And it's not really so much with special teams, even though they've had their moments. Too many missed field goals. We still really do have issues with punt return, but we got the kick return fixed once they put Makai Lemon back there as kick returner 1. The issue with this team in 2024, offense, quarterback. Whoever the quarterback is, the USC's offense has a problem right now. And the offense is a problem for USC. It's not for the opposing defenses, the way we've kind of grown accustomed to. It seems like the opponents have found Lincoln Riley's cheat code. They know how to stop it now. Maybe they've seen it too many times over the years. It's on film. By the way, this offense, this year, Coach Riley's offense, these last 3 games, they've only averaged 22.6 points per game. Nationally, that ain't good. That puts them in the triple digits, like 109th. Oof. That ain't good. I'm at the point now where, look, I don't like looking for excuses, but I'm having a hard time finding excuses. Coach Riley changed the quarterback. He actually made some minor tweaks with the personnel, with their playing time. You really didn't see any changes at the wide receiver position, offensive line. Running back stays the same. Pardon me. But what Coach Riley showed us when they substituted in Jaden Mayava for Miller Moss at quarterback, what Coach Riley did play calling wise in that game, pretty much abandoned it against UCLA. Didn't see any of that creativity. USC's red zone offense right now, it better figure itself out before Notre Dame. I don't know. Maybe field goals will be enough as long as the Trojans defense keeps punching above its weight class. But as I said on the instant reaction show yesterday, when USC has the ball inside the 5-yard line, 3 separate occasions, you cannot run the ball up the middle and then go fade pass left, fade pass right. It's not fooling anybody, and you're not winning those one-on-one battles. Love Kyron Hudson. I don't think he's the guy you want to be using in those jump ball situations. You got Juice Robinson. You got Jacoby Lane. Why not? Just saying. I know you did it with Jacoby one time. You actually did it with Jacoby twice. It paid off the second time. I don't think they did it with Juice Robinson, at least off the top of my head, I can't remember. And when we're talking about running the ball, when you have running backs like Woody Marks and Quentin Joyner, and you have a quarterback that's 6'4", 220 pounds, and you line up in the I formation with a 2 tight end set, you have to be able to run the ball in a variety of ways. Use a little speed RPO. Show what you showed against Nebraska. Hand it off to the running back with the H-back as the lead blocker. Can you imagine UCLA with USC with a fullback again? That's really the dying position in college football and football in general. But find some jumbo package. You're telling me you don't have somebody on that sideline that's 300 pounds that's willing to put their hand in the dirt and then go find a hat to put on somebody? Come on, Coach Riley, you're smarter than me. You could do this. All I'm going to say is slamming the ball between the tackles three straight times, three straight consecutive offensive series, that doesn't spell creativity. I mean, you saw one real creative play with that double pass from Mekhi Lemon to Kyron Hudson downfield late in the game. Other than that, nothing. I mean, if I'm going to grade this, I'm giving the coaching and the play calling C+. I would have given the running backs an A grade, but if we're going to point out the interceptions from the quarterbacks, then the fumbles matter as well. That fumble from Quentin Joyner could have put USC in a really bad spot. The score was already 13-9 at that point. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. As far as the running back grade, I'll give them a B. They did a really, really good job. Woody Marks with his pass protection. Quentin Joyner had the long run of the game. But again, that fumble, can't overlook that. It's probably why he doesn't get more touches. The sooner Quentin can secure the ball better, he's going to gain the confidence of the coaching staff much. He'll see the field a lot more. Excuse me. I'm stuck in my throat. Look, wide receivers this year, they've been a huge letdown. We just got to call a spade a spade. And against UCLA, they dropped too many passes. Jacoby Lane, he did catch the only team's touchdown of the game. Mekhi, he had a great night overall. Caught the ball, returned kicks, he had that nice pass. But overall, this group throughout the season, average. And they turned in another average performance against UCLA. And UCLA's pass defense isn't their strength, it's their run defense. But for the most part of the game, I would say UCLA's secondary gets the edge. 2 weeks ago against Nebraska, you saw the wide receivers fighting for the ball. You saw Deuce Robinson make a couple plays. Saw none of that on Saturday against UCLA. So yeah, they show flashes, they show what they're capable of doing, but the entire season, way, way too inconsistent. In this game, I'll give them a C. I'll give them a C. That was a great catch by Jacoby Lane. Offensive line, they've gotten better throughout the season. They really have. Rarely. How often do you hear me mention Jonah Monheim's name, Emmanuel Prignon's name? That's a good thing. You don't want to be talking about an offensive lineman by name, because when you're mentioning them by name, it's usually because they didn't do a good job. Lately, you don't even hear me talk about Elijah Page either. He's gotten a lot better as the season's gone along. I think overall, it was a good performance against the Bruins, against their defense, against their run defense, which has been really good. Did they pass protect as well as they would like? I thought they were okay. According to Pro Football Focus, Jaden Mayaba, he dropped back 38 times. He was pressured 12 times. I can live with that ratio. So I'm not sure what grade I'll give them, but I don't know. I'd say a solid B for the offensive line. I'm really not sure how to grade the tight ends in that game. Lake McCree, again, pass interfered by the back judge. That was kind of weird. Walker Lyons, you got to catch that. You got to catch that pass. You got to catch it. Sorry. So, I don't know. Again, blocking, everything that you asked the tight ends to do, they were average in this game. So, if you're average, you're going to get an average grade. You get a C. Right now, USC, they've got one regular season game left. Blue, they can't use that as a topic anymore. So they're going to be healthy. You've got Notre Dame coming to town. This is what we need. You put a little bit of lipstick on a pig. Now you need to go play your best game of the year on offense. Open up the playbook, Coach Riley. Go have some fun. I want to see double passes. I want to see reverses. I want to see jet sweeps. Put one new play in sometime during the week, practice it a few times, and then surprise everybody at the Coliseum Saturday afternoon. I'm telling you, watching USC use a little bit of trickeration, it's fun. Gets the crowd into it. And the players enjoy it too. One more game. Notre Dame beat the Irish. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers, you can bet $5 and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you literally everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and you can do it all in one place. So now when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you want to check out the latest stats, maybe you want to check out some live play-by-play highlights, maybe you want to place another bet. Guess what? You can do that all at FanDuel.com. Join today. You're going to get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You heard me briefly mention it in the first segment. They didn't quit. The team did not quit this year. They very easily could have quit when they were 4-5. Some people might have thought, this team is packing it in. They didn't, though. And I think that says a lot. I think it really says a lot. Even though a lot of you probably don't want to hear this right now, the fact that they were able to hang together, get to 5-5, deal with whatever they were dealing with last week with the flu, and come out on the winning end against one of their rivals, hey, I'll take it. The players talk about brotherhood all the time. Coaching staff talks about brotherhood all the time. Now that they're 6-5, they're bowl eligible. Woohoo! Starting to feel a little bit of smoke. I'm starting to hear from the Sooner fans. I think everybody really wants to see USC and Oklahoma play. I don't know if that can happen. Maybe the Alamo Bowl, but wouldn't that be a great thing to happen? I'm getting a little bit ahead of ourselves right now. USC still has to play Notre Dame, and that's the significant goal they still have left to achieve. Get to 7-5. Go beat Notre Dame. One, mainly because you got housed last year in South Bend. I mean, the offense did not look good. Caleb Williams had, I would say, his worst game of his Trojan career at Notre Dame. It was ugly. 4 turnovers. Secondly, and just as importantly, USC needs to win this game at home to finish the season, because you do not, and let me emphasize again, you do not want to watch Notre Dame celebrating at midfield because they're going to the playoffs. I don't need to see that. You don't need to see that. That's not how you want to see the season end. And you don't want the recruits that USC is going to be hosting seeing that, especially recruits like linebacker Madden Faramo, who is basically, it's coming down to USC Notre Dame for his signature. Say what? Considering how this season has played out, and I know I'm lowering the bar, the way this team responds on Saturday against Notre Dame, that's going to tell me a lot about what I need to know about Coach Riley's grasp of the team. He's been able to kind of hold them together. It's been a mash unit. Some injuries at some key positions on defense. The offense has not worked the way we all expected it to work. But let me give you a few quotes from after the game against UCLA. This is what Coach Riley had to say. And this all comes down to about finishing, not quitting. Quote, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to score a few more times in the red zone and done it that way. But we're battle tested. You know, we've been through a lot of them. I told you all when we lost a few of these, at some point, this is going to become our advantage because we have been through so many. We don't really know anything else, honestly. And so our guys were confident. We made the stops we had to defensively, where we got a decent drive down there and we got the field goal offensively. Now it feels great. It does. It just, more than anything, not for any other week or anything else that's happened, but just this week and what we've had to overcome and to go win this game, it feels tremendous. I'm really, really proud of our guys and how they responded, end quote. I don't know how many of you, a lot of my listening audience, you're in my age group, been around the block. It's not your first rodeo. You recognize the name Jim Valvano, legendary head coach from the North Carolina State Wolfpack, led them to a national championship. Real Cinderella type of season. He passed away from cancer, but he is known for saying, don't give up. Don't ever give up. That's something I've always kind of gravitated towards when I was coaching high school basketball. That's something I made sure my team understood. No matter what. I don't care what the score is. Memorize those words. And that's kind of how we broke the huddle sometimes. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. One of USC's older players talked after the game, Kyron Hudson. Very humble man. He just does his job. He's not outspoken. He doesn't try and show anybody up. Sometimes he struggles with the easy catches, but you give him a catch factor, of a 10, he'll make the catch. It's amazing to watch him do some of the things he does. Anyways, after the game, Iron was talking about finishing games. Quote, "It's important to continue to fight. That's the key word, finish. That's what we've been preaching all week." Finish is just another way of saying don't quit. You see you started here. The finish line's over here. Finish. Get there. Don't quit. Crawl across that finish line if you have to. And he was asked about the team's vibe in the locker room. Brotherhood. Brotherhood since the beginning. It's all about making sure nothing affects the brotherhood. It's bigger than football for us. We continue just to control that and know that we've got each other, end quote. That is all about Coach Riley and the coaching staff. That's their overarching message. It's for everything. Leave no man behind, basically. That's your brother. Pick him up. Don't let him quit. Drag him across the finish line. Kyron talked about becoming bowl eligible. We had some obstacles in the beginning of the year that we didn't like, but it's about what you can do when the obstacles start. It's about using those learning lessons and finishing and being excited. All right, look, I know it's sunshine pumping, but USC really is the best. Let's call them the best 6-5 team in the country. Coach Riley said it. I'll back him up on this. In the grand scheme of things, it's more than just being a couple plays away from, being 10-1, 9-2. But that's what each of those losses came down to: a play here and a play there. It's bigger than that. Still, you can focus in and say, you know what? Maybe if USC executes that play there, or the ball bounces differently there, who knows? Maybe the Big Ten official doesn't go with his gut and actually follows the rules. USC gets the win in Minnesota. I'm just throwing stuff out there against the wall to see what sticks. But this team is really better than their record. They are better than 6-5. Are they 8-3? Are they 9-2? Are they 10-1? They never quit. The team plays hard. Got to give them that. Got to give them that credit. I will take a season that ends 7-5 from a team that's playing mid-level football as long as they don't quit. I'll take that over an 8-4 and 9-3 team that kind of sleepwalks their way through that record. I've seen that. You see a lot of that with teams that schedule down. That's a whole nother topic that I'll talk about in another time. Not a fan of the direction of college football, the direction it's going, especially the scheduling. I get the whole pragmatic approach with it. Doesn't mean I like it. One more game left. Saturday, we're going to find out if this team is ready to finish and if they're ready to make Notre Dame quit, because that would be the best way to end the regular season. When was the last time you went to a concert? Any live event? Do you have tickets to USC versus Notre Dame at the Coliseum? It's a 12:30 kickoff, by the way. I know where you can get tickets. It's called Game Time. Yeah. Game Time has this feature called Game Time Picks, and it makes getting tickets to your favorite live event super, super, super easy. The feature, Game Time Picks, what it does is it filters out all the fluff. It's only going to show you the best seats at the best price. I mean, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to get what they want without wasting time? And here's another great feature from Game Time. It's my favorite feature. It allows you to view, it actually gives you a view from your seat before you check out. So if you see a price that you like and the seat, just press on that. And it's going to show you what your view looks like. Even better than that, there's no risk involved because Game Time guarantees you're always going to get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms are going to apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Got one more segment to talk about here. We've got a little bit of recruiting news before we check out. USC got another one. 3-star tight end, Folsom, California. His name is Nela Tupou, and he was actually committed to Utah. He's been committed to Utah since February of this year. Not anymore. Tupou, again, he plays for Folsom High School. His quarterback, you might recognize the name, last name Lyons, first name Ryder. Ryder's older brother, Walker Lyons, USC tight end. Folsom seems to do pretty well developing the tight end position. USC's got another one. So Tupou, he right now he's catching passes from Ryder Lyons, and he took a visit to USC. He was actually offered on October 30th, and then he took a visit this past weekend, actually 2 weekends ago, against Nebraska. Now he's flipped his commitment from Utah to USC. That gives USC's 2025 recruiting class 23 commitments. Let me just go over those 21 verbals with you. You've got, let's see, the last 7 who have committed. You've got Nela Tupou, Cash Jacobson, the defensive lineman. You've got Aaron Dunn, the offensive tackle from the state of Utah. Stephen Miller, safety cornerback prospect from Georgia. Floyd Boucard, defensive tackle from Florida. Jerome Miles, 5-star wide receiver from the state of Utah. Utah's been developing some talent lately, and USC's taking it all. I'm fine with that. You've got athlete James Johnson, and don't forget about D. Reddick, the safety, the guy who committed and then flipped from University of Central Florida. The rest of the commitment class, you've got 5-star quarterback Husson Longstreet. You know about that. We've been talking about that recently. You've got offensive lineman Willie Washer. You've got offensive lineman Elijah Vicona. Wide receiver Corey Simmons. Wide receiver Tanu Kynes. Wide receiver Romero Eisen, who, by the way, I should let everybody know, he has taken a couple of visits before early signing period. You know what that means. Usually when guys who are committed are still taking visits this late, I would anticipate them considering other offers. You've got DeJuan Morris, athlete from the state of Tennessee. You also have defensive lineman, state of Texas, Gus Cordova. This dude, he's chomping at the bit to get USC. You're going to love this young man. You've got linebacker Matai Tagoai from California. You've got, again, another guy who's taken visits. Linebacker Jaden Perlot. And then you also have cornerback from the state of California, Tristan Castro. He's ready to sign his sheet from USC. He's ready to do it right now. One more piece of intel I want to give you guys on recruiting. Last week, I dropped a little intel about an offensive lineman who is supposed to flip to USC after Thanksgiving. I wanted to do a little bit more background research on this one, not just take the word of one of my everydayers, which I still appreciate. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to leave myself out there hanging. So I checked with somebody with USC, somebody who is intimately close with who USC is recruiting, who's been offered, who hasn't. And this person said that, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. So I'm going to dial it back a little bit. The person who gave me this information, he said he's going to check back and tell me what he hears on his end. But for the time being, let's just know that we got that flip from Alex Payne from North Carolina, who is now a Trojan, or plans to be a Trojan when he signs early signing period. And USC's recruiting class, they're not done. They're still trying to finish it out. House of Victory, they got a boatload of money right now that they're going to be spending. So we'll see what happens. Remember, you got a bunch of guys out there, 2 guys in particular that USC wants to close strong with. You've got Madden Faremo. I mentioned his name just a minute ago. And then the big jewel of the class. Interior defensive lineman, Jakeem Stewart from New Orleans, Louisiana. We'll see how that plays out. Again, this isn't about recruiting anymore. This is all about bidding. It's about getting the CEOs from Oracle or Marvel Entertainment. These are the people you need involved with your recruiting nowadays. That's how it goes. I'll be back with another episode of Locked on USC tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Notre Dame all week long. We're going to start looking at what they're bringing to the table. And I'm going to have one show this week where we're going to get real nostalgic about Notre Dame. I'm working on bringing Pete Arbogast on, and we're going to talk. You want to know about Notre Dame, he's your historian. He'll tell you everything to know. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.